You're listening to the Derby Junkie podcast with your host, Joel Lansing. This is your number one source for Derby news. Carnage on the track, motors overheating. The podcast is presented by Vansel Productions, always filming non-stop action. Vansel Photography, it's more than just a photo. Capital Industrial Derby Supplies, Derby Tees, and Buzzkill Rubber Company. And now, your host.
Good evening. Welcome to episode number 6 of the Derby Junkie podcast presented by Buzzkill Rubber Company. We have a good show for you tonight. We have Knochel that will be joining us here momentarily. But before we go into that, I got a few things I would like to mention. Buzzkill Rubber Company is one of our new volunteer sponsors. Ryan Keel, the owner, based out of Louisville, Indiana. He's been running this business since 2010, and if you need any straight thread tires, tubes, you see this man. This man's a good business person. I met him myself. A very nice guy to deal with. Find Buzzkill Rubber Company on Facebook. Helping Derby drivers keep it in all fours since 2010. Next thing is to talk about is when I'm talking about my sponsors. The main thing is I need to actually change on how I'm saying sponsors. All the sponsors that I have on this show, Buzzkill, Derby Tees, and Capital Industrial Derby Supplies. All these sponsors are volunteer sponsors. I am not asking for any money from these people. They're helping me out, and I'm helping them out. I am mentioning their business, their company on my podcast. And they have been very generous to provide a logo for me so I can put it on my podcast so you guys could see it. And then within my podcast, when I'm talking, I do mention their company. And so when I do the intros of my podcast, I plan on mentioning each company during each episode. I'll switch back and forth. I'm looking for a few more sponsors. But as of right now, those are my three main sponsors. Of course, Vansel Productions and Vansel Photography. Those are my other two sponsors, but those are my sponsors. I actually own those two companies. With that said, this podcast is a hobby that I do. I'm doing this for your entertainment. I'm entertaining you guys so you guys can come home and you can listen to my podcast every Thursday nights. I'm doing this on my own time. I'm donating my time to do this. I'm not getting paid to do this. I don't want to get paid to do this because this is the only thing I want to do. I want to help the Derby drivers out. I want to help the Derby fans out. I want to help promoters out. I want to help the Derby companies out. Without those, we wouldn't have a Demolition Derby. So again, I'm not getting any money from all this. I'm getting zero. All I want to do is entertain you guys at home. Because this is something I love doing. And I want to continue to do. I want to help the Derby sport out. I want it to grow. Whenever I decide to stop doing this podcast, I want to make a difference for Demolition Derby. I want to see a growth in Demolition Derby. If I can see that, and it's not going to be just me doing it, but I think if I can help entertain some drivers, promoters to listen to this every single Thursday night, maybe that might change a little bit on their direction, I guess you could say. And maybe somebody might come out of retirement, or somebody might be more interested in going into the next season and trying to get a car and do one of the classes. It's just not me doing it. But I'm helping a little portion of it, a little percentage out. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing a little percentage. So if I can do that little percentage, if I can help the growth of Demolition Derby, then I'm doing a good job. Anyways, enough of that. I say his name always wrong. Knochel will be joining us here in a second.
You're listening to the Derby Junkie podcast. It's just not a newscast, it's a podcast.
Joining me on the Derby Tees hotline is Knochel from Sheridan, Indiana. Sean, thanks for joining me on the show.
Hey, no problem, Joel. Anytime.
let's just get into it. What does your 2015 schedule look like?
Okay, well, I've got a couple cars lined up. I've got a mid-'90s Caprice wagon. Just going to be kind of probably just be a one-run wonder. Just going to try out some new stuff I've got, new parts and stuff. That'll probably be for a spring show, most likely the Frankfurt Derby on May 30th. And then I have for like some fair shows, I've got a '69 Olds Delta 88, real solid car, no rust in it at all.
Nice.
And I'll probably run it again at Frankfurt. The Frankfurt Fair Show is July 11th, and I think it's the 17th. And if there's anything after that, I may go to Lafayette on the 25th of July. I haven't had a whole lot of good luck there, and I don't really like the track, but if everybody else goes, I may go along with them and run too. And there might be, if there's anything left after all those, I may go to a fall show. Frankfurt's talking about having one. There's a state fair on the 16th I might go to, but we'll have to wait and see what's left of after the fair shows. Oh, and if Noblesville has a derby, I might go to that one too.
Now, who have you heard who's going to be running the Noblesville show? Because I know John Fawcett, he's not running that anymore.
Right. I haven't really heard anything about this year. After last year's fallout, I'm not sure if they're even going to have one. I haven't heard. I've been asking around, and nobody seems to know anything. So hopefully something gets decided soon so we can start making plans. I like running there. It's my home county fair, so, I'd like to see it come back if it can.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, running the Hamilton County and Tippecanoe County, do you think they're the Derby pits, I mean, they're about the same? I mean, they're just kind of like a drag strip kind of. They're long and narrow.
Yeah, the Lafayette one especially, it's really long and it's pretty wide too. The Noblesville track it's barely over 300 feet long. I think the grand total, the total length of the track is only about 350 feet, I think. And then once we cut down the ends, it gets it real short, and then it's super narrow. You can barely fit two cars end to end in between the sides. But Lafayette's it's pretty wide. I think it's a pretty good track. The reason I don't like it is it's so big and the cars get all stretched out. You can't keep an eye on everybody at once.
Yeah.
And it's pretty easy. I've been blindsided there a couple times pretty hard, and it's real easy to lose track of people there. So.
Oh yeah, I got video. I mean, of course, some of the video that I caught of you, and I mean, usually, now the reason I'm saying this is, you got the name, the Sheridan Schlabbernacher. Who gave you that name, or did you come up with that name?
I kind of came up with the name myself. I was trying to think of just kind of a catchy name, something that kind of went along with Sheridan. I thought of the Sheridan Shocker, but there's already shockers out there all around everywhere. And then I was thinking the Sheridan Slammer, but didn't really like the sound of that. And I was actually watching PBR bull riding on TV one night, and was a bucking bull that was named Slobberknocker, and I saw that, and I said, "Hey, the Sheridan Slobberknocker, that sounds kind of cool." And I just kind of, as a joke, put it on my Wheat Crash underneath my little Pixar there on the left-hand side, my signature, I guess. And when I had Tony Miller make my roof signs, he put that on the roof sign for me. I thought, okay, that's kind of cool. So it's kind of stuck, and I've been going with it ever since.
All right, well, yeah, I mean, there's a reason. If no one's seen Sean Derby, he's definitely he doesn't use the brakes, I would say. I mean, you're always using the gas, and there's a reason you got that nickname, or you came up with that nickname. But yeah, all the video that I've recorded, I make sure that I try to get you in there because you definitely will put a show in for the fans. You just don't go there to win the money, I would say. You would definitely go out there to try to win the hardest hitting award. But
I'm usually there to try to put on a crowd. There's no better feeling than making a good hit and hearing the crowd cheer over your screaming pipes. And it's just ever since the first time that happened to me, I'm just like, hey, that's kind of cool. And that's what I go after. So.
All right, awesome. I can't wait to get my in-car and camera for the Clinton County show. I plan on filming that spring show, so I'll definitely be coming by and put my in-car camera so I can get some footage to put in the DVDs that I'll be selling after I film everything edit it in, and
yeah.
so yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Anyways, so all your cars that you're running, I'm assuming they're going to be stock, right?
Yeah. This year I'm going to run stock. I was kicking around the idea of maybe going up to the Pro Mods next year, but kind of have to wait and see how this year goes. But yeah, I'll definitely be running the stock class this year.
I wasn't at the Clinton County Fall Show last year. You were in that caddy, right?
Yep.
What year was that?
That was a 69.
A 69? Oh, man, I was thinking it was the 1970s, but never mind.
Nope, it was a 69, and it was rusty. There was no trunk floor in it when I got it, and the floorboards, I actually put my foot through the driver's floorboard at the first derby. It just blew right through, and it got kind of stuck between the gas pedal and the transmission and stuff. And I had to yank it out, because I didn't want, obviously I didn't want to get hit back from the side or something and get hurt, but yeah, I'd put some extra sheet metal in, and then, it just blew right out the bottom, so it was rusty.
All right. I heard that you ran the mods class in the fall show?
Yeah, I did. I ran the stock class at, where all did I run? Frankfurt, Lafayette, and I don't remember the third place was. But I had 3 shows on it. Oh, Lebanon. I ran Lebanon last year. I forgot about it. I don't know. I'll have to look up when that is. I ran Lebanon. Didn't do too well there. My first hit, my fuel tank flexed and or moved somehow and hit my fuel pump, broke my brand new fuel pump off. But yeah, after those first 3 runs, the front end was pretty soft. So I just plated it up and threw some kickers on it just to get one more fun run out of it. And I just went out in the mods and did what I could, lasted as long as I could, and ended up getting like 6th place out of like 9 or 10 cars. So nice. I was pretty happy.
Yeah, I heard about it, and I can't remember who told me. Somebody told me you ran it. I'm thinking, wait, I kind of stopped the person who was telling me. I was thinking, you said he ran the mods? And then he said, yeah. I'm like, I thought that car was for stock, and I just can't believe you ran the mods. And I was thinking, well, what the rules? I mean, I knew. I can't remember who went to, and I'm not sure who ran the mods, but I was thinking with his stock class or his car, it was just for the stock rules. I didn't know how well it would hold up.
It held up pretty well. I was just kind of running around, making some hits, but making sure that nobody was catching me, and there was some understanding. The Punisher guys were out there. Their names. One of them's going to be on your next podcast.
Yeah, Jason.
Yes, the Jarbos. They were out there, and Brandon Reeder was out there, and I could see the green and yellow John Deere car. Williams was out there. Toast was out there. There were several good cars out there, and I was just trying to run around, make sure they couldn't get a piece of me, but yet at the same time be able to put some hits on. So, and I was talking to the Jarbos afterwards, and they said, they hit me kind of hard. I felt like they hit me kind of hard. He said, oh, that wasn't even full throttle. We knew you were just out there to have fun. So they kind of took it a little easy on me. So that was pretty nice of them, I thought. So
yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure you heard about it too. I know Toast, he came out there to run, but did he get put over the wall?
He got, I don't know if he was over the wall, but he got shoved up against it pretty hard. I don't really know. That was after I was out, or pretty close to when I was out, so I was trying to get moving. Mine actually broke, lower control arm broke off, and my steering wheel was going in both directions at once, so I couldn't really move, but yeah, I think he got shoved down there, and I don't know whether something broke or what, but yeah, he was down around there behind me.
Okay. Yeah, of course, every time that I do not come to a show, there's for some reason either the mods or the stock or whatever class puts on a good show for the fans. Everybody was telling me, oh, you should have came to the fall show. It was a good show. And I'm like, oh, great. The one show that I did not come to film, it was a good show, and everybody was telling me that he got flipped over the wall, Toast, and I didn't know if he got flipped over, he just got put on the wall. I was hearing so many different stories, so I just wanted to kind of ask that because I knew you ran that, ran the mods, and I just wanted to make sure what happened to him.
Yeah, he didn't get flipped over. He might have got shoved over a little bit, but I don't really exactly remember. So, But yeah, that show, that derby was a pretty good derby. I was actually kind of happy I was in the mods for that show, because the stocks were just unreal. It's like everybody was there to jump themselves and take as many people with them. So it was pretty rough, but it was a good show.
Now, have you heard any news on what's Larry Eidson and Jeremy Hamilton doing?
I know they've got some tough cars. I don't know exactly what they have. I haven't heard of. I haven't really talked to Larry. I was going to go see him this weekend. I haven't really heard when they're running or what they're doing, but I know they're building, so they'll be out and about somewhere, I'm sure.
All right, cool. All right, well, some questions here that I always want to kind of have your opinion on. Where do you think stock is going, like the stock class? Do you think it's getting better than the modifieds, or do you think it's just kind of staying at a steady pace, or what do you see stock going?
I think the stock class is getting bigger. When I first started running the stocks a few years ago, there was 3 or 4 in each class, and a lot of them were us that were there running together. But it seems now that there's more, especially at the fall show, there was more stocks than there was mods, and I think guys just don't want to spend a whole winter building one car when they can, spend maybe a month or two building one good stock car and get a couple runs out of it and then start over on another one. So I think the stock class is going to keep growing. With that being said, I think the promoters need to keep a tight rein on it, to keep all the protectors and stuff, and so it doesn't get out of hand like it did there for a while. But I think the stock show is really taken off, and it's gonna be a good show, I think.
Okay. What do you think on running sliders? Do you think they should run sliders in stock?
To be honest with you, I've been running stock for, I've been running derbies for how long now? About 20 years, and I've never, knock on wood, never broken a drive shaft. Now, I've had them real close, and I had one break when I was backing the car off the trailer after I got it home. So I don't really think the sliders are going to make that big of a difference. I know guys want them for when the car bends and stuff like that, but I don't really see it making or breaking it, really, to be honest with you.
Okay. Yeah, I know a lot of people was having the decision, after I think it was the Clinton County Fall Show, if they for this year, for especially John Fawcett rules, they were saying do not allow, or they didn't want people to have sliders, because if you put them in there, it's going to cost more money, and it's actually you're changing the rules a little bit, and some people were kind of against that. And some of the drivers that I talked to, they were against it. They didn't want to have sliders for 2015. So I think, no, don't quote me on this, I think John Fawcett's not allowing sliders in his rules.
The rules I read, he's not allowing sliders. He has changed a couple things, but for the most part, they're still basically what they were last year, and still pretty stock. I'm happy, like I said, that he's kind of kept a rein on it and not letting the protectors in. You can have a distributor protector, but you have to cut the firewall out and that kind of stuff. So, and that's what I mean, because if you give in on the sliders, what's going to be next? Guys will want something else. They'll want the pulley protector. They'll want you got to put your foot down and put a stop to it somewhere.
Right. Yeah. It'll just continue to add, and then the stock class is just gonna go away, because then it'll just turn it back into the mods. So,
back into the mods. Yep. Exactly.
What do you think about roll cages? Should they allow that in stock class or not?
John changed his rules a little bit on that one. I think if I remember correctly, well, no, I guess it was the same last year. Roll cage, I don't have a problem with roll cages. I'd rather the guys be safe if there is a rollover, just kind of keep them safe. But as long as it's not extra reinforcement on the car, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can, in John's rules, you can run the cage legs down to the frame, which I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I think he changed it this year to where the front legs can only go to sheet metal. I personally don't have a problem with the roll cages, no, because like I said, that's that's driver safety, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. I know here it's been a couple years ago. I'm not sure if you remember this or not, if you were there. It was Derby Icons. They were putting on the Battle of the Borders show over in Cayuga, and I think it was the truck heat, and one of the trucks.
Yeah, truck heat.
You hear about that guy that lost his life. Now I'm not sure.
I heard about.
Go ahead.
I did hear about that. Like you said, I'm not sure if it was really, if that was part of it. It could have been. But I think he had some underlying health issues.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of scary, that kind of situation happening, and who's to say if he had a roll bar if it would have helped or not. I had a feeling it would, but you never know.
Right. Yeah, I heard multiple stories, and I'm not gonna get more deeper into it. I just was gonna bring up the point that if he had a roll cage, would it have helped him out or not? And then everybody was talking about, well, there was certain rules that if they wanted to put the roll cage in, they could. Of course, trucks they allowed it. It's just I thought, to me, I think that you should every class put a roll cage in. It's for the safety, and then it brings back to the stock class that, well, we can't do it in the stock class because that's you're putting a roll cage. And of course, mostly roll cages go to the frame, so that makes the frame a little bit stiffer, and that's helping advantage. But it's about the safety, and I think that I don't care what class you should have a roll cage. It should be mandatory. It's a safety issue. It's either you do that or you could get some hurt if someone gets flipped or whatever. But,
Yep. Yeah, because how many times do you see somebody take a good hard shot in the side and it rolls them over, and then the car that hit them ends up on top? I mean, if you don't have a bar, that's just going to crush your roof down. So, yeah, I agree with you. The only thing about it is it has to be constructed safely, the cage does.
Right.
Because if it's just, bubblegum welds together, then it may, cause more shrapnel if it does go over and comes apart, and then you got, the ends of bars pointing around everywhere. So I don't know if they should be mandatory, but I mean, that's a pretty good argument that I think will go on for a while.
And I plan on getting John Fawcett on this show here once his shows get closer, probably about April. I'll get him on here and I'll talk to him a little bit about his rules and see what he thinks. I mean, does he feel comfortable with them, or what does he think, and what does he begin from the other drivers? I mean, I'm sure he's got a lot of feedback for the last during the off season of people's opinions on what the rules should be for stock or modifieds or trucks. Or well, actually, he's not running trucks this year. I think he's
not running trucks this year. Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of big turnout. This past year, so.
Yeah, I think it's just minis, stock, and modifieds. Now, another question, and I'll be honest with you, I really think I'm kind of old school, I guess. I like seeing heats ran, but the last couple of years with the low car counts, it's kind of hard to run heats. What do you think of the one shot? You run one time, and it's if it's 20 cars, you run all 20, or would you want to divide it into 10 and 10 and run 2 heats, and then take the top 3, and then they do a feature?
Right. It's kind of I have mixed feelings about it, I guess. I like the one run and done because you don't have to bring a whole lot of extra stuff with you and tools and stuff. You just throw a few things in the bed of the truck, load the car up, and go. But at the same time, you only have the one chance. If something stupid happens at the beginning, like you break your fuel pump off or something, with the heat, you'd have a chance to get that fixed possibly, or weld something back, or I guess you can't weld, but fix something up and then come back out for the consi and have a second chance to get the feature. So I think there's advantages either way. I think the way the stock car count's going up, there's going to start having heats and stuff again. Maybe not this year. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But if it keeps growing the way it is, I see promoters running heats and then the feature. So I know they're running heats stretches the show out for the crowd, so that's an advantage. But with the one run and done guys, like I said, you have one chance, and guys are going to drive a little bit harder. I don't think there's going to be as much sandbagging as there would be with heats. But it's hard to say. I wouldn't mind running heats because it kind of gives you a break in the middle, but at the same time, like I said, you go out there, you run, and you're done. So, yeah. So I don't know. I think we'll have to wait and see, but I think the heats will come back for at least the stocks. And who knows, mod cars may pick back up too.
Yeah, I remember when I was little, and my dad would take me to Clinton County, and every year, for the longest time, you'd have two shows, and they would have one on Sunday and one Saturday, and you would see 4 or 5 heats, and then you would run they'd run the Powder Puff, they would run trucks, and then they'd have a Constellation, and they'd run the feature, and I enjoyed that. And now we're getting to the point that a lot of people are getting out of this sport because it's either they're burnt out or they're just retiring, and then you got some people coming back a little bit, but it's not a lot. It just, you got some, but then you get the people that are about my age, in the mid-20s, that they're kind of getting into it, but they just want to run away one time, and it's the stock class, and then they want to stay away from the mods. So then you just get the stock, and then maybe it might be just maybe 15 cars that show up. So that's gonna be one shot. They're not gonna want to run 2 heats, and so I see where it's going. You're losing drivers, but you're gaining some, but it's just not enough to get enough entries so you run heats. But like what you said, hopefully here next year we could get maybe some heats, because I enjoyed like you said, it's an advantage to some people. You might barely make it to the heat or through your heat, and then you can get to the feature, you can fix your car, or you can come back to the consi, and maybe you might get lucky and you might be able to advance. And sometimes I've seen some heats that they might get maybe 2 or 3 cars in the consi, and they just say, hey, you guys advance. They don't even make them fight for it. What's the craziest rules that you've ever seen that it might not? You said you've been running for 20 years. What's the craziest rules you have ever seen that were ran, if it was stock or if it was modifieds or whatever?
The craziest I've seen, not that I've built to, but I've seen they called it a stock class, but it was more of a gut and go type class. And we ran the stock gas tank. That's kind of a crazy, to me. That's just asking for trouble there. Other than that, really, I don't know. Most of the rules I've run by have been pretty close to the same throughout the whole 20 years. There's been obviously some changes. The heat, the stocks kind of morphed into the mods, and then they turned into the pro mods or whatever they call them now. But the basic rules have all been the same. Yeah, really, the only thing I can think of is or maybe even windshields left in and stock gas tanks left in, and batteries in the original location. So. Like I said, that was I don't remember where that was, but I read those rules and I was like, oh man, that's kind of crazy. But I guess if you know how to build or know how to drive or what, you might be okay. But to me, that just seemed like problems for the promoter.
Oh wow, yeah, it sounds like it. That brings to another question, or not a question, but just a comment I have. I've really. I wouldn't say I derbied. I ran passenger. My brother, when he ran here several years ago, he ran at Cayuga at the Battle of Borders, and I actually helped him. I think it was that car. It was a car. He ran an 80s box, but I helped him strip it out, pretty much do a little bit of work on it, and it's amazing on what those guys for the modifieds. I'm just speaking for the modifieds, what they have to do to the car to get it to the. There's a rule. There's a fine line of rules, and what they can and cannot do, and it's amazing on what you have to do to make your car to the point that you can run it for the modifieds. And then I'm looking at it like for you, for the stock, I mean, yes, there's not as much work, but you still have work to do. You got to work on the body. Now, for the stock, do you take the body off the frame, or can you even do that?
I don't. Most of your body mounts have to stay stock. You can change, for John's rules anyway, you can change the back form, put a 5/8 bolt through it, and then the front you can run all thread up through the top of the hood, to the top of the core support. But other than that, they all have to stay stock, so there's really no point to take it off.
Okay. Yeah, because, I'm still getting used to or learning all the rules because I'm still a newbie at it. I helped my brother a little bit, and that was about it. I want to learn a lot about it. So for instance, when I'm doing this podcast, that I can talk a little bit more intelligent, I guess you would say, on the different drivers, if I have stock or the modifieds or minis or trucks or whatever. But yeah, you'd be surprised that people that are listening right now, if it's ridiculous on what these drivers have to do to make the cars safe and to the rules. It's a lot of work. Now, what do you think when you buy a car? How long do you think it takes you from when you buy the car, you strip it out and then you go, you look at the rules? How long do you think it takes to build your car?
Oh, wow. If you ask the guys that I run with, they'll tell you it takes me 2 years to build a car. I'm not the fastest builder. I work outside. I don't have a shed or anything. I'm actually in the process right now of getting a shed here at the house. I work outside, so the weather's a big factor. Like right now, I'm not building. I can probably do one in a couple months, maybe, if I have, going by like work schedule and kids' sports schedules and stuff like that. If I can get that worked out and get some good weather, I can probably build one in a couple months. That's my hope anyway, because that's probably what my timeline's going to be this year. So, but the last 2 years actually, I started building one for a fall show and didn't get it done, and had a lot done for the spring show the next year. So, it probably takes 2 months, I would say, of steady building.
Okay. Yeah, I came over to this about a year ago when Larry was he was promoting the state fair. And I went into his barn, and it's a nice barn. He's got enough room to kind of walk around. He could probably put about 2 cars in there, but it was nice. You could just be comfortable in there, and you could work on your cars. But yeah, of course, he's been doing it for I think 20 years or more. I think
he's been doing it quite a while. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
He told me once. I don't remember. But yeah, it's been longer than I have, and I've been going for 20 years. I'm not sure if that's right. Let's see, I'm 30. I'm probably closer, more like 15 or 17 now that I think back about it. I've been involved with him since I was a teenager. I started helping at my county fair. The promoter was just looking for some young kids to help out and be runners and do that kind of stuff. So I was there, and he kind of took me on. And actually, my first 5 years in the sport was on the promoter side, so I got to see what everybody was doing and trying to get away with and stuff, and that kind of helped me start building. But I've probably been building about 15, 17 years or so. So he's probably been 20 or a little more.
Now, have you ran Clinton County? The last 5 years, have you just started running at Clinton County, or have you in the past, like 10 years ago?
Moved. I used to live up in Kentland, which is in Newton County. I run Newton County, and then Earl Park has a fall festival derby, and I ran Earl Park for several years. I was actually maybe kicking around the idea of going back this year, but no, I didn't run down here. I moved down here, 9 years ago. Started running derbies probably about 7 years ago when I bought our house here in Sheridan. So I've been running here for about 7 or so. Let's see, I'm trying to think of the first time I ran at Frankfort, though. I didn't run at Frankfort. 3 years ago maybe was the first year I ran at Clinton County. So, yeah, and then last year was the first year I ran at Boone County.
Okay. What's the what's the I would say, what's the best car that you've ever ran?
The best car I ever ran was probably, I had a 73 T-Bird. It was pretty stout. It had a full box frame front to rear, big nose on it. It was a pretty tough car. The back end pulled it up nice, and the front end, when I got rid of it, was still pretty straight. But I was going to school and stuff, and just needed the scrap money from it and stuff. So I just ended up cutting it up, scrapping it. But that was a pretty stout car. I'd say that was probably the strongest car I've run.
Okay. What's you said you're running a wagon, right? This year you're running or did you say?
Well, it's like a mid-'90s Caprice wagon, but it's actually been smashed down, so it's kind of a sedan-looking thing right now. So
okay.
I've run wagons before.
Okay.
My first one was an '83 Caprice wagon with a diesel in it, the Oldsmobile diesel.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it did pretty well. Once it got hot though, you couldn't restart it. But if you keep it running, it was a pretty tough engine.
Have you ever ran? I know this is kind of like a stupid question, but after we talk about it, I'll mention why I'm asking this question. Have you ever ran a car without a radiator?
Not intentionally. I've lost radiators before, but I've never run one without it to begin with. No.
Now, somebody told me, and I'm not going to say who, but somebody told me that, you know who Richie Price is, right?
Uh-huh, yep.
Someone was telling me that he didn't run a radiator on his engine.
I think you may be right. I think he had some sort of closed loop system. It had like an expansion tank or something on it. I'm not sure how well it worked, because I know at least one time it blew I think it was the freeze plugs blew out of it or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I think you may be right. I think he had something mounted in there, but it wasn't hooked up maybe or something.
When somebody told me that, the person that did, I kind of looked at him thinking, there's no way. He'd overheat really quick, and then they kind of told me why, and it made sense. But you can tell when he gets hot. You can definitely tell when he's on the track, when he's getting hot. And he built that motor that he built. I'm not sure what it is. I like to see it myself in person, but it's a mean motor.
Yes, it is. Standing up close to the track when he's running, it's pretty loud. You can tell he's coming. I don't know exactly what it is either, but it's pretty stout.
Now, speaking of motors, what kind of motor do you run?
I actually just run a really worn out 350. It's really loose. I actually bought it. See who I get it from. It was originally Larry's. He ran it for a while. I think his boy may have ran it once. Another kid ran it, and I got it, and I've been running it for 2 years, I think. And it's real loose, and when you first start it up, when it's cold, it knocks and hammers and doesn't run real well. But once it gets hot, it's a good running engine once it's hot. So I am kind of looking around, shopping around for a new engine. I may be getting something this year, but I was thinking maybe next year I'd get something. But we'll have to wait and see.
Is Larry Eaton Jr. is he running this year? Or?
I don't really know. I haven't talked to any of those guys for a few weeks. I don't really know what he's going to college right now, so he maybe take some time off. I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Okay, yeah, I heard that last year he was gonna run one. Well, Larry said he was gonna run one more year, but I didn't know if he was gonna continue to go another year or not. I knew he was going to college, but I didn't know if during the summertime when he was not in school if he was gonna run or not.
Right. Like I said, I haven't. I'm going to talk to those guys this weekend, but I really don't know.
I know he ran a nice GM wagon. Wasn't it a GM wagon last year?
It was. I don't think. No, it was a Roadmaster. It wasn't a wagon.
Okay.
I think it was just a regular old Roadmaster. Yeah, he ran it at the state fair. Was it?
Well, I'm thinking.
It was last year. I think it was the year before.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Last year he ran I'm pretty sure he ran a wagon at.
He ran a Roundback last year.
Yeah, Roundback. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
He ran it at Clinton County, and then I forget where else he ran it at. I think he only ran it twice.
Okay. I of course I didn't go to the state fair either last year. My last year was busy for me. I was getting married and I had a whole bunch of things going on, and I just couldn't make to a lot of shows. And a lot of people wanted me to go to the state fair. Even John Foss, I kind of talked to him, and he said I was more than welcome to come. And of course I never made it. I was going to, but I heard that the state fair was a good show, and then of course the Clinton County Fall Show was a good show. I didn't make it to there, so. This year I plan on making to a lot of shows. I'll start off with the spring show in May at Clinton County, and then I'll go to right now it's still up in the air, but Richie Price is putting on a show June 6th. The Good Guys.
The Fairgrounds, the Good Guys show,
Yeah, that's still it's on hold still. I'm not sure if I'm going to be filming that one, but then I'll be going back to Clinton County for their July show. I still got to figure out, I'm not sure what the date is. John hasn't posted a date for the Clinton County Fair Show, but I'll be doing the Tip Canoe, and I plan on going.
Sorry, I had to interrupt you. He's actually posted in the spring show thread on Week Crash. He put that they're having 2 shows at the fair this year. I think it's Saturday, July 11th, if I have my notes written down right, and then Friday, July 17th. So it sounds like they're going to open and close the fair with derbies this year.
Oh, sweet! That's new.
So they're going to have at least 3 derbies this year, and possibly 4 if they have a fall show. But he said, from what he wrote on Week Crash, the fall show is kind of up in the air to see how well the first 3 go. So.
Okay.
They may have 4 shows at Clinton County this year.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be great to see 2 shows come back to Clinton County, because you haven't seen that, and oh my gosh.
I know,
it's been almost
long time.
10 years or so now. But yeah, going back to my schedule, I'll be doing Tip Canoe, their their fair show, and then State Fair. If I'm pretty sure John will allow me to film, and then if there's any fall shows, I'll do those too. But I still gotta get everything all finalized. But that's kind of like what my schedule is gonna be this year. It'll be definitely busy, because 2013 was a busy year for me. I was doing several different shows and moving from county to county to county, and it burnt me out. But when I got to the end of the season, I thought I'm ready for the next season. And so I'm ready for 2015. I know it's going to be a good year, and hopefully the stock class will definitely get bigger and better. And I'm hoping for the best for the modifieds too. I don't know. They're it feels like every show I went to last year, even in the year before, in 2013, it just felt like modifieds were going down, because it's just the rules there. It's to the point that, like you said earlier, it takes them all winter long to build one car, and some guys don't want to do that. They want to build a car within a weekend or 2, and they just want to go and run it, and then they might get in their car, build it another couple weekends, and then go run that. But do you think modifieds are going to be here in 10 years, or do you think stock's going to surpass that, and then modifieds will still kind of stay, like they're at right now, 10 cars, a heat, and that's it?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of guys that were running mods that are starting to run stocks now. So it's hard to say. 10 years from now, I don't know. That's a pretty long time. I can see them stick around for a few years. I don't think they'll ever go away. Because there's those diehard guys that just love doing that stuff, and that's what they do. And I think they'll probably swap roles, because you know how it used to be, the mods would have 2 or 3 or 4 heats, and the stocks would be like a filler show, and it may swap around the other way to where the stocks have 2, 3, 4 heats, and then the mods are filler heats. So I don't think they'll go away completely for a few years yet. In 10 years, it's hard to say. The mods or the stocks may have morphed back around to the mods again, and we'll have to get the stocks started again. It's hard to say, to be honest with you.
I've talked to a lot of people, and they're ready for this season, and they're definitely most of them I've talked to, they're saying they're doing stock, and But
yeah, it's going to be a busy year. I think there's going to be a lot of cars out there, and I'm looking forward to running as many shows as I can. And if I'm lucky, I'll bring home some more trophies. So, but we'll see.
Awesome. Well, Sean, it's been awesome talking with you. Is there anybody that you want to thank before you go?
I would like to thank my wife. She's one of the most understanding people I know that lets me do all this crazy stuff. And she's actually, when I first started into this, she didn't really like it that much. She liked going to the derbies and watching, but she didn't like all the work and time and money that goes into it. But the last few years, she's really come on board, and she's helping some. And the kids are getting old enough where they're getting into it too. And she's my number one fan, I guess, and I have to thank her. And all the guys I run with, Larry Eaton, Jeremy Hamilton, Woody Woodhouse, those guys, they're always around if I need a hand, and vice versa. We all kind of try to work together and help each other out as much as we can. And Joel, you do a good job. I enjoy your videos and stuff. I think you do a good job with that, and I'm looking forward to having a camera in my car at some point this year, and just the reason we do it is the fans out there, and the other drivers too that come and watch. It's like the RMR guys say, and we're not in it to win it. I'm there to put on a show, and if I get to take home some hard-earned money, that just makes it all much better. So that's I guess that's it.
Yeah, well said. Hey, well, Sean, I appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your schedule, and we'll probably be catching up here in May, and I'll see you around a lot of shows this year. I'll be there. I mean, pretty much all the shows that you're going to, I'll be there. So,
all right, cool.
But yeah, it's gonna do it. So again, thanks for coming on, and we'll see you in May.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, and I look forward to seeing you around.
All right. Take care, Sean.
See you later.
All right. Bye. And there goes Sean. Hopefully, people took consideration on these topics that we just discussed. We hit a few main topics and kind of talked about what we thought about them. And hopefully everybody kind of understood where we were coming from. We will continue this podcast next Thursday. We'll have Jason Jarbo on, and then we'll take a week off, and then we'll have Kyle Chrisman on February, I believe it's the 19th. Yeah, February 19th we'll have Kyle Chrisman. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Derby Junkie Podcast, episode number 6. It's in the books. Special thanks to Sean Knochel joining me on the show today, or this evening, spending some time out of his schedule and just talking a little bit about Demolition Derby, about his career, and what he thinks about the future that holds for him and this sport. But we'll do it again here next Thursday. Check back with us then. In the meantime, take care, guys. We'll see you next Thursday. Hey guys, Joel Vansel here. Thank you again for listening to my podcast. I appreciate all of the support. If you haven't already liked my page, please do so on Facebook.com, search Vansel Productions. You can keep up with all my information and podcasts that I post. Again, thank you for listening.